are you?
Hello.
We don't
Well,
see you.
I'm going to be trying to take my daughter to dance here in just a few minutes, so sorry.
All right, we'll just dock your pay.
Oh,
You're
no.
live. You're live. Whoops.
Okay. The March 23rd regular meeting of Calvert City Cemetery Board is called to order at 4:33 in the afternoon. First order of business would be to approve the minutes from the last meeting, which was so long ago, if you can remember it. Good for you. And I apologize about last month. We were out of town and John wanted all of us here, so I wasn't gonna come back from Mississippi for this. Okay, if we could read the minutes.
I move to accept.
Mike, and second, Dale, all in favor? All
Aye.
right. Are we set? Okay. Okay, next on our agenda is visitors and petitioners. And I suppose that's why Nita and Mike are here.
Yep.
That is why. You get to go early. You don't have to, they don't make you wait.
Yes. I have a problem.
Yes, ma'am. It's on.
In June, on June 9th, 2006, and I remember the day because it happened to be Chris's birthday. Johnny Harrell contacted me about some lots for sale in the Calvert City Cemetery. And the reason that he called me was the lots that my dad had left 3 lots for me next to where he and my mom and my brother are buried. And in his will, it was given to me. And when Chris died, I gave that lot to him. And in true Chris form, it took a lot and a half for Chris. So there's only, basically one lot left on that, and that's for Tara. So, I told Johnny if any lots come up, I would like to buy some more. So he called me, or I think he actually came by the house that day to tell me that Margaret Smith had some lots for sale, that her daughter had already passed away. Her son-in-law didn't want them, and the grandkids didn't want the lots. So I called Marguerite and went down there that day. And I paid for the lots with a $1,000 credit card type check. And I also had her to write on there that, that we transferred the lots, and she signed it. And I made copies and took one to Johnny with the understanding that he would put it on the plat and that he would keep the receipt or the checks that I had brought him. And so I kept a copy for a lot of years, and I blamed Mike for losing it, but I really think I may be the one that lost it because I put it in a folder one day and came up here to see Nick to give it to him, and Nick wasn't here, and I don't know if I put it somewhere that I don't remember where it is or what. There is a possibility that Corey may have a receipt, but I'm not sure whether he is. He's gonna look, but I don't know. It seemed like I gave him one, but it's just been so long that we didn't think about it. Johnny had told me we needed to put some markers, and it's like one of those things that you just have so much else going on that you don't think about it. And we never put the markers down there. And first of all, when I talked to Nick Cole, he knew about it. And that was, he said, you just need to bring me a receipt because, I knew, he said that he knew that Marguerite owned it. It was a 6-lot plot, and there's one body buried on it. And she, at the time, didn't know the person's name, but that person was buried like in 1900. And Draffman bought the lots in 1981. And according to our digital records, everything that the city's created, it wasn't even on there that Marguerite owned it. But I came up here a couple of weeks ago, and Allison and John helped me, and I got the old plat out. And Draffman's name is on the lots. So, it is, we do know that they did own these lots. One book of Johnny's that they had, I couldn't find the receipt in it, but there's another book or more, I guess, that that you called, John called Brad about, that I don't think we've gotten that yet. I don't know if it could have been in that book or what. I think it was in storage. Am I right on that, John?
I'm not, did you ever find that other book?
For Nick's original
Yeah.
book, I don't call that Nick's book.
Did they find one, an additional one?
There's the red binder one and then copies of just burial contracts and burial
I mean,
permits, but it's all up to date, not old ones.
But when we talked that day in the office. you
Yeah, now he
told-
did bring the other one like that, but that was not what that was, it was contracts and it was his original, his original binder was the one I was looking for, and he did bring that up there. So yes, that one we did bring up, that was.
What happened, say, I do know that I took it there, and I'll take full responsibility for not putting the markers and stuff. But, basically, I'm asking you all to let me have those to put it on there. Marguerite, the only proof that I have at this point in time, that I was there was when Marguerite died. I wrote something on her obituary, and it said, my parents were longtime friends of Dragon and Marguerite. My dad and I stopped to visit when I was 8 or so. Marguerite entertained me by showing me the flowers in her yard. I was especially captivated by her large, beautiful snowball bush and wished that I could have had such an amazing plant. A couple of years ago, I had the opportunity to visit with Marguerite in her kitchen. As we sat at the table, I shared this childhood memory with her. We had a good laugh when I told her I had a snowball bush from her original bush in my yard, so large that we could hardly keep it contained. To me, Marguerite embodied goodness and grace, and what an honor to have known her. And that was when I bought the lots, but needless to say, I didn't write that I had bought cemetery lots in her obituary, so. The only other recourse that I know of would be to try to get a hold of her grandchildren. I do not know them. I can go to the obituary and try to get their names, but. Jim,
Can I speak on this?
Yes.
So she don't have to sit here and ramble on,
Yeah.
carry on. Well, that's not,
you know that.
no, I mean, to go on with the story. Well,
Go ahead, Jeff.
Uncle Johnny Harrell personally told me this when that happened. Now, I was a lot younger then. It kind of blew off the side, but I was up at Miss Marguerite's one day and we were sitting in the kitchen rambling. And, she told me also, John, that she had sold her lots to this lady right here.
Okay, she never did indicate how many.
Well, no, she didn't specifically tell
An
me.
issue, but this, the fact.
Johnny did,
Okay.
but Miss Marguerite did not.
Okay, what?
He said-
Johnny said?
He said 6,
Let's see, okay,
but Miss Marguerite just said, I sold the rest of my lots in the cemetery, Miss Hale.
okay.
And, that's all I've got. I have no proof of that other than being right there when she said it.
So you actually heard, oh, wait a minute. Kayla, let's see her. Okay, she's not she can't be a member of this voting panel because she's not physically present. But she's welcome in and can actually
Hear what's going on.
speak or something if she wants to, but so you can corroborate what she doesn't have in writing because you heard both two people
I heard it
talk about it.
straight. I heard it straight from Johnny Harrell and Miss Marguerite Smith.
Okay. All right.
I did. And, I mean, I don't know the exact location.
Mhm.
I know the area, but he never did flat out tell me it was these here. He just said, Miss Marguerite sold her last 6 lots. And you just need to know that. That's what he said, basically. Now-
The fact that I know there's that there's a body buried there and there's only 5 lots.
Okay.
And I don't know if I said or not, I paid $1,000. That's what I got.
Are they up by Draven and Marguerite up on the?
No, they're, if you go up the hill, the middle section, it's almost just right as you top the hill, there's a Kincaid right in front of it, it's right there.
You got it.
And then the way I understand it, I don't even think Marguerite knew at the time, but I think the grave is by the road.
Let me see.
It's, there's no markers.
Could be under the road and even.
It's a-
Yeah.
Yeah, that pronouns is not one of the bad ones.
That's funny, you know, I can't remember what I've done years to, but I can remember stuff like that. I really can.
Means you're getting old.
Maybe, I don't know.
Sorry.
But it's, she's telling straight up the
This
truth.
is north.
I mean, I heard it straight from two different people. So,
So that's, unless y'all have any more questions and.
No,
Give me just a second, I can show you exactly where it is.
Oh, well, it should be a full group.
Well, just go to section, the west side, no, the north side of sections B, I think it is, isn't it?
Karen and Kevin is the
Well,
grandkids' names.
Talking about right.
Last I knew they lived in Franklin.
One burial
They-
there.
Yeah, they both live in the
Okay,
area.
okay.
Yes.
I could try to get through them on Facebook or something.
Okay, here's the road. Okay, Mausoleum's over here. We're
Okay.
in section B,
Okay,
okay? Road comes in and that's where it makes its turn and goes around behind. Right down here at the beginning, or this, an L section. This one, it says can't read, but if you go and look at it, you can see it on the old blue map, which is hanging up in the wall in there. So this is the area she's talking about right here.
Like, the size is
Mm-hmm.
what's in there.
Okay, I know what it was.
Keep coming on up in King Case, and it basically like, right,
Yeah.
yeah. They basically, right, it's not right at the crest of the hill, but it's.
it's close to, yeah. I know where you're talking about. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can't miss it.
Well, if you go up there, it's a blind spot there. I mean, it's an area and that's it.
Well, and that's probably, well, that's gone.
He looked at it, it's not up there.
No.
Yeah, Dragon's.
Okay, so yeah.
This has got stuff
That's
in
it,
it
Gary, right there.
that's so out of date, it's ridiculous.
So y'all have any more questions? Ramble.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'll have.
I do it all the time.
I just. What precipitated you to just now think of this? Was there something that happened that made you think of it that years ago, when we first started trying to do all of this, we published in the newspaper and we tried to get people to come forward that had lots. That's the only thing that, didn't we? Yeah, yeah.
Be honest with you, Jana, that was like a few years after Chris got killed and I was.
You just
with the
didn't-
Girls and I don't think it probably even in my mind.
Yeah.
And again, maybe because my dad did it and stuff, the assumption that Johnny did it. It's just, I mean.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just leaving on. I mean, and I didn't, at the time, I didn't realize he was getting sick,
Mhm.
but, you know, he
Yeah.
was a good person. He did what he
Yeah.
did and stuff. And
Well-
the other thing is like I said, it's just one of those things where I did a couple of years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, and I got to talking to Nick about it. And when I found out it wasn't on the plat, what he needed was on there. I mean, it was on the plat. I found it up here a couple of weeks ago, but he didn't know. And, we talked about it. I knew, you know what, we talked about there being one grave that was filled and everything. And, that was when I brought it up the first time. And then like when he wasn't there, you don't really want to be thinking about being buried, to be honest with you, just sort of,
I know.
you know, and that was it. But I really have been talking to John about it for a while. Probably 2 or 3 months at least and stuff. And then I was gonna come last month and you all.
We didn't have a
didn't
meeting,
meet
yeah.
and stuff, so. And it's just one of those things you put off, you know, it's just.
Is it one of those graves that the ground penetrating radar picked up? The one she's
The one
speaking of,
that-
it's unmarked?
I don't know. No, I don't.
No, there's not any unmarked ones there. There's a marked grave there because there was a notice on it. And like I said, if you go back and you look on the old one, you can make out drafting on it.
The old plat.
Yeah, the old
Oh,
plat. Yeah, the plat that we got from Johnny. Now, the plat from Don did not, it said can't read, but Johnny had written on there drafting, so. But it was on that one, and then there was several, and I can't remember how many were marked off. It's hard to tell from that, but it was a section there. That was marked off in that name, but there was only one burial.
How does that show up on the new website.
There's a gap.
It doesn't, yeah, it's just a
Just a
gap.
gap.
It
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
even
one
show
burial and a gap.
lot numbers. It's not even recognized as spots.
Well, I don't know. Anybody got comments? I
What-
think without a doubt, we believe that you've done it. I mean, why would we doubt? There is not a doubt in the world that you didn't do that and that Marguerite didn't sell it to you and that you didn't give her money for it. There's not a doubt. I think our only doubt is that legally, and we don't have the lawyer here, we don't have Greg.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, well, Greg is the one that pushed this so hard on us. Do you remember? Meeting after meeting after meeting. He pushed legally, and I even looked it up and these are the old, did you find any new
I found 20
regulations?
I found 2020 regulations and then I had my post-op appointment and was not able to
Okay.
look, but I made sure that there wasn't any newer versions.
Okay,
Told me I couldn't be buried in my plot.
okay, this just says,
Him to do it.
and I think too, the fact that it happened before the city took over, I think that's a point on your behalf.
Yeah.
Because once the city took over, things were a lot,
Well, your
Better
dad-
off.
Your dad, my dad, Harry, Harold, Mikey's dad were the ones who came up with the committee to start getting the perpetual care.
Yeah.
There were some others in there, Drappin was one of them,
Mhm.
and to start doing some of that. And I helped my dad write letters to contact people,
Mhm.
and to see and stuff. And I have grandparents that are buried over there and I know there's no marker for them.
Mhm.
And there's a rough, my dad showed me one time where they were, and I said, why don't you buy tombstones and put there? And he said, because I don't know exactly where it is.
Where
So
they are.
It was all
Yeah.
together different, and there weren't deeds, there weren't receipts,
Yeah, and I think legally it's much easier now that we've started that, then because I think we've even had an issue. People have to have a burial contract now, and they don't understand that. And if they don't understand that, it can cause some real issues. But in this, it just says, let me just read a little bit. Accordingly, the city shall make reasonable efforts to confirm such intended rights and seek formal burial contracts with those who are intended owners of those rights. Well, that's what Nick was working on. And of course, Nick's gone. So you get this Allison over here. She gets to answer all the questions. The city will seek the assistance and cooperation of the citizens on. However, in the event that the city cannot confirm intended and purchased ownership of such questionable grave spaces, after making reasonable efforts to do so, such grave spaces shall be declared abandoned and may be sold by the city. The city shall make all reasonable later asserting ownership, blah, blah, blah. So I think do we go legal or do we go with what's right?
Well, may I interject?
Yes, absolutely.
I think had it been just an individual, single individual who made that claim, that might have been one thing, but we've got somebody here that's heard testified that two other people told them the same thing. So I think that gives us a little more proof than just taking a single person's word.
Oh, I think so too.
So
And I think the fact that
Yeah.
it happened before 2010, when everything was, we got to do it this way, this way,
Yeah.
this way. I think that.
And
So,
I didn't write those and I don't have them in front of me, but I'm wondering with what you just read with those reasonable efforts, is it a continuation, the way that it's written, such that these are the reasonable efforts that we're making and having this conversation? Or was there a final date such that all of the spaces were deemed to be abandoned? I just don't have it in front of me to confirm, but
wasn't it 6 months or a year
it was the first time and then we wound up doing it again.
doing it
you
again?
know.
See,
And
that's what I said, we don't have updated.
Well,
Okay.
see, the thing that I remember now, I don't know if again, it's my memory, so God help us all. When we talked about this the last time with Greg, I said, people that have got their names and stuff on there have got, as far as I'm concerned, if they've got their name on that, then somehow that person or some person in that group has purchased this. That name is on there. That is a record as far as I'm concerned, just like a piece of paper. However, now comes the time of who controls that's turned into an issue or.
Yeah, it drops down through the family. You're right.
You know, I
And
mean,
we've
and that would,
discussed
but
that.
that would say, okay, because you don't have anything other than this saying that so-and-so had these lots. And so-and-so is now buried in those lots, so who is it? Well, that's something that they'll have to go back and I think would have to get some sort of information on to show that they have it. We also have created a form that states, Ashley did it for us, so that if somebody is making a claim on them and has, we feel like has a legitimate claim or possibly has a legitimate claim, that they can sign that off to hold harmless the city in case somebody else comes back and says, no, I have a claim. Of course, that goes into whatever, but at least it gives us something that said, okay, they said this, we determined that this person showed enough evidence that they had some sort of legal right to it. Whether that was correct or not, they're gonna make that assumption. They're gonna assume that liability.
Okay, we haven't seen anything like that though.
We've got a
Have we?
form now.
We do.
Yes, we do have a
It,
form.
it would be nice if we're kept up to date on what kind of forms.
We haven't been there since this form was created. We haven't met, so.
That's right.
So I'm informing you what
Well, thank
is
you.
taking place.
Thank
So
you. It's a good thing.
just so you're aware of that. I kept,
This ever, to think of, you know, my dad, I knew that the lots were Christmas period, I knew they were mine, but I never thought about bringing anything up here.
Yeah.
Until John, you know, and actually I'm pretty sure the city didn't own it from Christmas period.
No, I
And,
don't think
and
so.
we just didn't, you know,
Yeah.
I didn't think anything about it, it was my mom and dad's plot, you know. And I brought it up today because John said it would be helpful if they had it where it was deeded over to me by my brothers and
Mhm,
sisters, so.
mhm.
You know, I can see those points. It's been almost 20 years since I bought,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and I would think if her grandchildren had any interest in it, they would have already, and I don't know if, you know, if I can try to get in touch. The reason she sold them was because they didn't have
Yeah.
any interest.
I could tell you they didn't.
Well, and
I know that personally.
she has
Uh.
nieces and nephews, but that's not the line of inheritance, the grandchildren.
They bought the rest of the cemetery over the front. All the Dawes are buried over the front. But, so what are we supposed to do now?
But if it's not, if it carries any water whatsoever, I mean, I was sitting right there in front of both of them.
I know that, Jeff. I'm just.
Well, I'm just pushing that.
Yeah.
I think Janet's asking you.
Not paying attention.
What are we talking about?
The form that Ashley has been working on whenever she's been working on it, and I don't have a copy of that. It's very close to done. It's just dotting the i's and crossing t's. But I think what it comes down to is what she is presenting enough? And
Yeah.
that's what you all have to decide.
We
I
run into
thought
this,
it was complete. I did not know it wasn't complete.
we run into this so many times with the past generations that there's no proof.
No,
There's no proof.
no, I mean, something like, well, with ours, it was perpetual care, but this, you'll like this one. This is funny. I was going through some old papers. 1956. This is the letter that Mr. Luther wrote to my grandmother when she bought the lots. 1956. I never would have thought that I'd see that. Cause I mean, with ours, we had to use the perpetual care, cause that's all we had. We didn't have anything that said they bought
Yeah.
those lots.
See, ours
So-
was bought in 1934 at the death of my oldest brother. And it was thank you.
Well,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
dad and my brother's buried there, and he was born in 1925.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know who they bought those lots from. We don't have any kind of, other than the perpetual care, like you
Mhm,
said,
yeah.
we don't have any other proof.
That's all
They
Daddy's
didn't
letter
have
says.
There's some rare
Ten
estate.
lots and she bought them in
Cousin
72.
Judy's got,
Yeah, yeah.
she's got
Perpetual
everything
care,
that's
$100.
There you go.
and she showed it to me. I couldn't believe.
What's that?
My cousin Judy Smith.
Yeah.
She showed me exactly what we all were requesting to have in front of us. I couldn't believe somebody actually had it, but there you are.
I know. Well, I just
that's-
happened to find that one day and I just thought,
Yeah.
I was fascinated because I can't believe there was
You know,
anything there.
That's very right.
Okay, so let's get back to what do we need to do? Ashley, are you there? Do we need to vote on whether she has ownership of these lots? Is that what we need to do?
Well, I had lost audio for just a second, so I apologize. I came back on whenever Allison was speaking, but I have been working on a form for people to fill out in this circumstance because I know that the board maybe doesn't want to be as rigid as the regulations that we've passed. And this has come up before. And so I decided that it would be best if we just had a form that kind of addressed the situation. So I think the best thing to do would just be to have that form be filled out, and then when we either come back for our next meeting, we can either vote, discuss it, etc. And ultimately we'll approve or deny the claim, and then that's kind of how I foresee it best practice happening, because the regulations that are passed don't really address it, and there needs to be some sort of in between situation, and that's why I created the form for this very reason. So that's what
Okay.
I would propose.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
You understood that?
Yes, if we
Okay,
get
good.
the,
I'm glad
if we,
somebody-
yeah, if we get the form, no, we don't know yet. But when we get the form, when Allison gets the form and it's
a claim.
completed, she'll get it to you and you just have to fill it out and get it back to us, and then we can legally do it.
Okay.
Okay, does
Sounds
that
good.
make sense? Does that
What it
make
is,
sense?
basically, I have claim, and this is what my claim is, and, they weigh that evidence, just like we were talking about. Basically the same thing, and then they'll weigh that and vote on it.
Yeah, and I mean, without a doubt,
No,
we know that you paid Marguerite. I mean, we all know. We've been around here too many years. We all know that.
I mean, I'm not
that-
taking offense to it. I take full responsibility for not putting on some markers there and for.
Well, and like you said, all this is new. It took some of us a little longer than others to get our paperwork done.
What's she looking at you for?
I'm not gonna mention any names, but I tell you,
Bring that back in my.
but what makes it strong is the fact that Jeff, without being
Yeah.
his arm twisted or anything, he corroborates your story.
Yeah.
He's heard it. I mean, you've got an eyewitness.
And
And
that
when
was,
it's
that
up-
was just a
go.
special conversation. Now, Johnny wasn't, but Miss Marguerite was. It was just over coffee, sitting there at the table, and she said, "Oh, I need to tell you, I've sold my rest of my lots." Uncle
So,
Johnny,
does that make sense?
It makes sense to me, but do you need to try to get a hold of the grandchildren or not?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, they're,
I just hate to, I don't.
and
think
I mean, they
won't.
don't have
That was the
anything.
reason why she
If they
was
had
selling.
wanted to have something done with Calvert City, they would have taken her house and the farm. I mean,
Yeah, they sold
and
it.
after Harold
quick.
died, yeah, after Martha
Harold
died,
bought the-
Harold died, they
And she.
never lived
She
here.
called, stay around, I'm pretty sure. It seems like, things get foggy, but
Mhm.
I think she called him just to make sure, but that she had already figured, I mean, he's buried here, I think, in a ditch.
He and
right now,
Martha are
but-
buried
but,
up by Draven and Marguerite.
Yes.
So, but, it was cause nobody else did, wanted to and stuff. And to be honest with you, I don't know why she didn't offer to other family members.
Well, she might have. They might not have wanted them.
Yeah.
Who knows?
All right, thank y'all, appreciate everything. Thank you very much. And I will, as soon as John gets me the form, I'll fill it out and bring it up.
Allison will get it. Won't you, Allison?
Of course. Have I ever let you down?
Oh, never.
But if
Never
you do
that.
it legal, that would be the best way.
Yeah, well, that way it'll be taken care of and, and I think in older instances, we're gonna have to look at a lot more of these things.
I feel like so recently, just so many more people have been coming in to claim these lots all of a sudden.
It's cause we're getting older.
I didn't say that.
Don't
You
go
did.
there, but it's true.
I mean, I thought whenever we first started talking about this, I thought, whatever, how many people are gonna come in and try to claim these old lots? Quite a few.
And to be honest with you, I guess I wouldn't even consider mine being an old lot. Because again, I thought Johnny had put it on there. I would come here thinking about people who had been, graves from the 1930s and nobody else would come around. And that would,
Mhm.
if I'd read the paper, I would,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah,
So thank y'all.
okay.
Have a good evening.
Anybody got to see me?
Stay out of trouble, Mike.
In that form, it covers us.
And that's good.
Mhm.
Because it's got a place for the kind of they give it the pitch on why they think they have a claim. So that goes in there as well. So I want to make sure that,
I'll sign
your
it.
information gets in there
Yeah.
too.
Because there's nothing attached to the plots as well. I mean, when someone like the sisters, I mean, it's just a burial permit and that's it. Like we would have to go back and look at YouTube videos or minutes to actually see signatures, a story, there's no documentation.
Mhm.
So this way, some sort of documentation that we can say, sign this.
Mhm, mhm.
You
It'll get
understand it's
easier.
in black and white.
As the years go by, it'll get easier because of the paperwork, paper trail now.
Yes,
So,
a paper trail. And I'm gonna have to, I guess, call All Funeral and have them add in spots, which I'll go over that with her, specifically, you approve of this one, because it's not on the map.
Yeah. we can
So
put
I'm
those
gonna,
in.
some of these plots are, not A, B,
Mhm.
1+1.
That
They
means,
squeeze
A1
people, they squeeze people in there.
yeah,
So she's gonna have to be an additional, a +1, a +2.
Yeah.
And is she wanting 1? Is she wanting 2?
that was 5.
We're gonna have to have the guys measure that out. I don't know.
Well, you may
yeah,
have to.
we measured out. I can go with them. It's not a big
I don't
thing.
know
man.
I don't know if 5 will fit. It didn't look like to me from a aerial view that 5 will fit from what we spaced out, but I might be wrong, but I'm just saying.
Well, measure it first, because a lot of times that's concern,
Okay.
But anyway, we can go from there.
Yeah.
Could have got squeezed. I know what you're saying.
Well-
That's happened before.
And they weren't always measured.
No.
Exactly.
Sometimes they were stepped off.
Stay
Well,
off.
since there's one body there that could be a cremating, you won't need that much room.
That many years ago, I doubt it.
No, I'm talking about there's a body there. There's a body there.
Well, yeah, so.
So you have to have a body to be able to put a cremating, so.
Yeah. There has to be a burial before you put cremated. Double it up.
Okay, all right.
Small print.
Where are we?
If you're still there, can you make a note to send me that document? I don't have it.
I will.
Thank you.
I'm here. I do think it is gonna help. I think it's something that we use going forward, so.
It sounds like it, Ashley, because I mean, we had all worried before about things being so cut and dried, I mean, is it legal or is it not? And we had someone that really pushed that hard, but we won't.
Well, I would, if we've got some preponderance there that we believe it is righteous, I think that we have that authority. And of course, Ashley will have to back that up, but going through the documentation that she's created,
Mhm.
that will help. And the fact that it comes before you all and it's not a random decision made by staff. So they have to sell you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in my mind, it's cut and dry, but the legal side, that's the right way to go.
Yeah, because I don't know anybody.
To
She's
protect it.
coming in here and she's telling me all these names and
You don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she could tell me that she knew Unicorn and it was,
Mm-hmm.
I need documentation. You tell me how to run it and I'll run it to my full ability.
Okay. Okay, all right. Old business,
Okay.
you wanna?
Yeah, I'm gonna run this by, real quick. One of the thoughts that I had, and I'm gonna stand up so I can pass things out as well. One of the thoughts that I've been struggling with this Veterans Memorial. Not putting together something that I just really, as a veteran personally, thought was, I don't know, it just did not strike me or work with me. And so I kept thinking, we can't, and I got to talk to the guys about what was available, power, gas, whatever. We gotta run on power, number one, that's not a big deal, but gas is not available. I'm not putting a propane tank down there. Is where we had originally thought. However, up in the front, there's an area that nobody uses. And it's that area right back here, right beside the road.
Have you been
behind
talking to my wife?
No,
Oh, that's exactly where she said.
Well-
Well, I've been discussing it with her. She said up
Yeah.
front, right up front.
Let's
and it's visible from
show where,
South Main. It'd be right in here. This
That's-
area here.
see, that's where I thought you was gonna put it the whole time.
No, it was in that section, that little, where
No, it was
those.
Down
like
back.
this. Yeah, I know, but I said,
That,
but
are
I
you
thought that's
guys,
where.
are you guys good with this location?
Yeah.
Personally, I am. It's right on the main road. Yep.
Yeah. Now,
It's a
my,
popular
get
band.
back here where I can actually
Mike,
Uh-oh.
pick me up.
Sorry.
I'll do this. I looked at a lot of places, Fulton, where I came from, over at, Benton at Mike Miller, they sell the bricks, you know, where you get them engraved. Well, I did some checking on those and just one company, this is just one company. My thought is you could actually make a little money for the perpetual care as well as for others by selling, you know, purchasing the bricks at their call, at our cost, and then sell them for about $5 more. So that takes care of maybe manpower, if something else. I mean, we're getting the manpower anyway, but the 4x8s, you know, you got a number of different colors and patterns that you can utilize. Okay. And the thought is we can purchase locally the bricks to lay this out. And it's going to, in a 30 by 60 area, you're looking at approximately 8,100 bricks. Locally, that's somewhere around anywhere a little around $1 to purchase, and then you figure another $1 worth of for labor to put them in. So I'm figuring about $2 a brick. So they put them in as people buy them, or we do a run and or try to sell the bricks in a mass number. We get the bricks in. When the bricks come in, we just pull one and set that. So that's what you're doing. You'll wind up replacing those bricks with that,
With it,
and,
right.
and they can be kept. They could be expanded if we wanted. That's something to be done. Now that's great for the floor, but what do we do for the total memorial? Well, my thought came in. The one thing that's always going to be there is the American flag. Dead center, 25-foot, 5x8 flag. Now there's 6 branches of service now. Well, on one side of the American flag, you got 3, and on the other side, you've got 3 more. Well, you have the Army, which beget the Air Force, which beget Space Force, all of them on one side. And in the Navy, you got the Navy, the Marines, which is a division of the Navy, and then Coast Guard in wartime falls into the Navy as well. So you have them on the other side. So you got the 6 flags, American in the center. You got uplights on them. These would be, since that's 5x8, these would be 4x6 or 3x5. Unfortunately, right now, I'm having trouble finding a 4x6 Space Force. All the rest of them I can get in 3x5 or 4x6. And the Space Force has one that only government agencies can have, and then one that the general public can have. And so I'm scratching my head going, okay, whatever. But anyway, that being said, we do that. And then you have an option that you might consider. One, since gas is up there, we put an eternal flame. I have to look into some of the costs of that, but put an eternal flame right there in front of the American flag in the center as you come in that burns 24/7, 365. Okay. With gas, you can do that. I don't know what it will look like and cost. Or we can attempt to do a statue or a bronze statue that would be either freestanding or itself or on a pedestal. If you look at the eagle that you look at right there, it is 5 feet tall, 6 feet wingspan, and then 3 feet in depth. Now, you probably would put that up a little bit to get it up, but I don't have the dimensions on the militiaman or the Minuteman. But all of this could be seen from South Main. It's all visible. So once this is done, when we put the crosses out, they're right there with that in the background all as well. So
Where was one of these set? Close to the flag?
my thought was you got the American flag. If you're going to do a statue, it would be in front of the
In
flag.
front of the flag.
And then if you did the eternal flame, it would also be in front of the flag.
And it may be if you did all three, then it'd be 1, 2, 3, and they're stepping down.
Only thing that bothers me about the flags is the maintaining them.
Replacing.
Yeah. How often do you have to replace the flags?
Not
Wait.
very often.
Oh,
We were up the airport today and the city flag and the state flag are in shreds
Where
at the
Right.
airport.
we've had to order both flags, the city flag. They've got them in, and he's supposed to replace them, because I've given them to him.
And the state one it looks bad at the airport.
Well, it looked bad to begin with, no, I'm just joking.
Well, I didn't put them up there. That's why I'm asking
What
about.
are you thinking, like 3 months, 6 months?
Every 6
6
months. At
Every
minimum,
6, that's
every
what you-
6 months, they need to be replaced. And it really depends on the weather we've had. The harsher the wind, the harder it is on the flag. We try to get the heavy duty polyester ones. 4x6 is not inexpensive. 3x5 would be a little less. 4x6 is like 190 for the military flags, and the 3x5 is 126, I think it was right now.
Would it have lights on it, John?
You put a light on them. That's all of them would have enough light.
Yeah, you'd have
Probably
to-
a pole mounted up light, and probably solar.
And you know, come to think about it, it being up front might help with vandalism.
Are we having trouble with vandalism?
No.
Well, you saw what they did to Benton's. On the Benton's.
Yeah, Mike Miller.
Oh, well, those are
This
fiberglass, this is
statue,
bronze.
yeah.
If they damage this one, they won't be able to put it back together like they did there,
Oh,
but they won't be able to tear it up
if
as
you do the
easily.
Minuteman, what's his cost? Since it's bronze.
That's just it. I don't know that yet. I'm looking, some of them I've looked at in this range would be like the Eagle. I'm guessing somewhere around 20,000.
Have to sell a lot of bricks.
No, we've got a
We've
budget.
got money, what,
We've got a
50,
budget, but
50
not
something thousand, don't we?
75,000.
75.
So what I'm trying to do, if you guys if you are okay with this, then what I'll do is I'll start double checking all the prices. Make sure we've got enough money and move forward with it.
I think it's time.
Yep.
I look back, we've been talking it
This-
4 years.
This is the first time I've actually
Yeah.
looked at it. And when I get done looking at it, I feel good with it. Everything else was like, it's missing something, it's not.
And you got
Just-
plenty of room.
Just the
out
plaque alone did not, and the engraving does not lay out right. You're better off with the bricks. Because you're infinite, the bricks are gonna be infinite. Or the finite would be so far in the future that it would be infinite. Whereas the monument, if you're just gonna put names on the monument, then that's finite for sure. So that's one of the reasons I backed
I
off.
like the brick idea. I
Yeah.
like it more.
You know, if we don't do the statue, then I would suggest doing a monument like the Washington Memorial. Do the obelisk.
Well, I like the Minuteman.
I do, I like
You
it
don't
too.
like
That's-
him?
I don't think he represents,
He doesn't. He represents America, not a branch.
right, he
Yeah,
doesn't.
that's one of that.
See, that's me. I'm sorry, too many years in the army.
Oh, I don't want.
Well, that would be close to
No,
the army
no,
than
I
anything
didn't,
else.
I didn't mean one for each one, but, well,
We keep, yeah,
I
there's no
don't
way to do
care,
that.
hey, at this point.
No,
I do have a question. And this may be a crazy question. With the bricks, are those only the veterans buried in our cemetery? Or
No.
they can be
Well,
anyone
anybody.
in Calvert?
anyone,
Okay, could be anyone in
anyone,
Calvert.
yeah,
Okay.
that would be,
I mean, I
Yeah,
was just.
seriously,
wondering.
you're right, no, you're right, you know. I'm gonna put one out there if we do this, whether I'm buried there or not, I wanna have one there because it's been part of my life.
Well, we done
I've got one in
Uncle
Fulton,
Bill
I've got
and
one-
Daddy at Mike Miller,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, yeah, Bill's got one up there.
But I mean, we done
Daddy,
it,
Bill, Uncle
well,
Doris.
Uncle Bill was gone, but Daddy wasn't.
You know, I'm definitely gonna have one, if we do this, I'm definitely gonna have one as well as I've got one in Fulton. But I did that simply because, you know, these two communities were ones that I've
been part of my whole life.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, I mean,
That
that's
means
just what I wanted to be sure.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Now, do you like the standard reddish brick
I'll call.
Admiral or the regimental? Or do you like something
I
else?
like the original, but I don't want it the same as Mike Miller.
Huh? Okay,
What color is theirs? Cause I'm.
I
thinking
do not
theirs-
know.
I'm
I don't
thinking
know
theirs
what
is-
color there's, it's red, that's
It's
all I
red,
know.
yeah.
A brick to me, you know, I don't care about the color.
I don't like the light ones.
I think the Admiral is less, it's got more matte finish and where you got a gloss finish on the regimental. I'm sorry.
Who does the names on them? Where do you get those done?
They're laser etched, the company does that.
It's kind of like a monumental company it does.
There's two or three companies that do that. What happens is like I said, we get an order. When we get an order together, we send that order off. Up to 1,500, they cost us a certain dollar amount.
Oh, wow, okay.
Anywhere from anything over 1,500 would cost us a little bit less, and anything that's 5,000 or over is negotiated. We're not gonna order anything over 1,500 to begin with.
Mm-mm.
So, you know, you'll make a little bit, not a whole lot. But
Well, that's
still,
what the purpose of it.
the
making
the
money.
purpose is that maybe you can utilize that to enhance it later on.
Well,
You
you're
got
probably-
plenty of room.
Flags,
There's-
whatever you
yeah.
want to do with it, use that to pay for the flags.
You're probably gonna have some kind of landscaping around it.
Yeah, that's gonna happen, so.
I love the spot. I mean, it's just sitting there empty. It's a perfect spot.
It's not too low, is it?
Mhm.
I brought up the same thing.
What?
I brought up the same.
Oh, did you?
I thought the same thing, no, it's.
Good.
See, you guys want to hang on to those, you can. That's why I brought them in here.
You've been busy, John. That's awesome.
Well, I've been trying to get something that, you know, this is something in the back of my mind for years. And I don't know how many designs I've done on, the computer. And none of them seem to just really strike me as something I would be proud of.
Well, these
Or
bricks
As
be,
proud as I would like to be.
they have to be purchased like you're gonna purchase one, or if you've got a vet that's in that cemetery that maybe has no family, what about his brick or her brick?
What do you mean? Help me out with that.
Well, it's
Gonna
some,
purchase,
Well, who's gonna buy it, you said?
yeah.
they have.
An
no-
individual that wants it there will purchase it, or the family will.
If
An
they're,
individual can purchase their own.
yeah, but what if there's no one left? If you've got someone in a cemetery that was a veteran and there's no family left? What do you do there? Just, you don't get a brick?
You don't unless somebody wants to step up
Oh, I
and do
got
it
you.
for them.
Okay, because you know, when the
We're
flags
not
used to be
doing it.
posted, they posted them everyone out there regardless.
Yeah, we don't, these are bricks that are gonna be, you'll have to purchase the brick,
Okay,
okay? You know.
that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, you have to purchase the brick. Now, if I knew somebody, I'm sure that a veteran, one of us would, if we knew something like that. And we
It's
had
gonna
the
get done.
information, we
Yeah.
would probably step up and pay
Yeah.
for it ourselves.
Long as every individual is recognized, that's what I'm talking
Everybody,
about.
well, everybody has the option
Yeah.
if they want it. Be some that don't want it.
Okay, well,
We've actually had one or two of those.
I related to somebody like that.
I can too.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, didn't wanna,
Didn't want to put Marvin.
He did not want nothing. Nothing.
So, you know, that's why I say, you know, it's up to the individual. And their choice. If they, now something else they could do, they could prepay. If they bought the lot and later on wanted to have a
Sure.
brick,
Sure.
they could do it then. You don't have to wait till after someone passes. You can do it
What do you think off the top of your head, something, what's a brick gonna cost?
probably around $25.
Yeah, see, that's
Something
something
like that.
to have your name etched in eternity right there, you know, that's pretty awesome. It's not bad.
And I'm not gonna put if I've got a tombstone, it's gonna have my date of birth, date of death. For that one, it's gonna have my service dates. Probably gonna have one for the Navy and one for the National Guard.
Okay. So that's $50 for you.
Yes, it would.
isn't that what Mike Miller is, dates of service?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
but, yeah.
Your rank or your, branch of service, dates of service, generally is what they put on there, name, stuff like that.
Okay, so how do we proceed? When do we do it?
I just need, if you guys are good with that, then I'll start moving forward and I'll give you back. This is probably our budget item right here. Everything else is going well. We got our mowing contract up
Who's
and
that
running. It went back to Withers. He sharpened his pencil, came in this year. Last year, he just gave us the same price as the year before, as his previous year. And another guy came in, and beat him out. Well, this year it happened in reverse. The guy that was in
The
there
one
did
that
the
was
same
year
thing,
before.
and Weathers came in and cut the price a little bit, and he got it. So
Is that actually the business name,
Hmm.
Weathers?
no, well,
It's
he doesn't have an LLC. Fairway.
Or
It's,
what?
it's Justin Weathers doing business as Fairway Lawn Care.
I have no complaints with whoever's been doing it for the
Well,
last several
both
years.
of these gentlemen and their companies have done a great job. Luxury Lawn was the one who had it last year. They did a fantastic job. And when Justin was doing it previously, he did a great job too. I've not got any complaints about either one of them. And so, it's just one of those deals where the lower bid came in at this time.
I never got paid. Uncle Johnny just called, need that mowed over, get over.
Oh,
I feel
well.
like that also.
You know.
I used to call myself.
Yeah, no, we no complaints on either one of the mowers that we've had. I don't think we've had any issues with those.
It's great.
All right. I'll try to get something laid out.
Do we need to make a motion on that?
Just a consensus, if you're okay with my
I'm okay.
presentation.
Yes, I am.
Go for it.
All right. So we'll start working on that. Matter of fact, I'll see what I can get moving with what money we've got this year, but I'm gonna repeat that in next year's budget.
That's
So-
awesome.
Our budget will not, and we're tracking real well. We've only spent about half of our budget, but we've got mowing season coming up too. And in general, and of course, we haven't touched really we haven't had to do any tree trimming or anything like that. So I'm gonna probably do the same budget again, same numbers. I may adjust some of them up. I won't go any down on anything. If I do, I'll let you know what I'm doing before I do it.
Who is our go-to sexton now? Okay,
God help you. I mean,
no,
there you go.
Excuse me? I think you were the one.
Would you like to expound on how things are gonna be done?
What's
I
that?
mean, as far as like when someone needs to be out there, who's gonna be there and physically?
Well, it'll be a chore between her and Parks. Parks will probably go out there and do the layouts.
under her.
Yeah, under her supervision, yeah.
Okay,
So far, it's worked out really great. We've had 2 burial permits and sold 2 plots. I kind of make the joke of, unfortunately, I can't download Nick's brain. No one's figured out how to do that yet. So with All Funeral, it helps me know who's in a spot and what's available. And with the first one I sold, I thought it was kind of funny because he was an older gentleman, and I said, well, you can see it right here, this is where it is. And he said, no, I'd like to actually see it out there. And I said, but why? You can see it right here. And he said,
Oh,
well, I
sweet.
actually care where I'm at. And I thought, oh yeah, you could be on a hill and that would be a pain, wouldn't it? So we walked out there, and he was a very nice gentleman. And people come in, we look at it, make sure that it's available. They kind of look up where their family members are. They can see where they'll be in relation. And I let Chris know, and I make sure he has plenty of time. And he goes out there either on my lunch break, because their lunch is at 12, isn't it? I think Parks is at 12.
Yeah.
Mine is at 11:30, so it doesn't take that long. So I go out there at 11:30 on my lunch break, and then he's out there. They mark it, put flags, and we're still waiting on these marker stones to come in that will show the rows.
Mhm.
Because otherwise you're having to look at the names on the stones as you're walking through there and kind of finding out where you are. And with these stones that put
We
the
have
row, That would
Row
be,
marker.
yeah, row
Yeah.
markers that you can walk through.
We've actually ordered all those.
You can walk through.
And that's
there
a good thing
just
to have.
Easily know, okay, here's row B and go down and marking new ones isn't gonna be as hard whenever we get the stones in. And once we just,
Tell them how to go online. Oh, are we there yet?
Blair will put it on. Tell me where she wants to put it on the website. I think we're gonna make it at the top. If you're familiar with the city website, at the top it says, pay your bill, forms. Something else, but have cemetery up there so that you click on that and it'll automatically take you to the all funeral services link. I'm slowly getting better at it. It's new and I feel like a lot of I hate to say that there's no kinks because you don't know that there's a kink until you hit a kink, but I would feel confident in Blair putting it on there so people could look. I feel like a lot of people just want to look and just click around and just see where their family members are.
Like find a grave type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, find a grave type thing. And so far the two people that have came in to do their one was a burial permit and one was a burial contract. They thought it was really nice sitting in the conference room. I plug in the laptop, they can look at it on the big screen. I fill out their information right there and it's very quick and.
Do
they
you
fill it
think
all.
that maybe
Louis?
like, we've had so much going on today, but maybe next month you could show it to us?
Yeah,
Could
I'm
we
gonna
do this?
ask, I'm gonna ask Smart Path if there's a way to get it on the big if there's a way to get it on the big TV. Ugh, don't you even
What?
start with me, boy.
What?
Being smart.
But I'm gonna see if there's a way to get it on the big TV other than just plugging it in with a cord, if there's a way, so that so I could show you all the beautiful nicks and tricks it can do. Hi.
I had a man that asked me about how he would sell some lots in Calvin City Cemetery. How would he go about selling them back to the cemetery or to some individual? Would he contact you
has he
and
got-
try to
has he
put
got
them on
proof of
market
them?
some way, or?
Has he got proof on that he owns them?
I don't know. He didn't tell me that.
So if you got proof, if we can get, again, that may be one of the situations where you have to show proof.
Yeah.
At that point,
Get all about
at
that.
that point, yes, he can sell them. If we can document that they are his legally, then he can sell them, but he has to make the transition here.
Just like selling a car.
Just like selling a car or selling a piece of property.
Well, if he doesn't have anybody to sell it to, does he sell it back to the city and then they become available again?
But just, if
Do we do
the
it like a
city, if the
refund?
city chooses to buy them back, yes.
That's a possibility. that-
Yeah,
that
it's
the
definitely possible.
City would buy them back.
What if it's a plot that was purchased before the city owned it?
Yeah.
Is that just documentation of,
Again, it's gonna be one of those situations where we have to verify that that individual's got claim to sell them back.
okay,
That's the whole thing. Just like anything else, it's one thing to, but for us to pay them for something and then they can't. They'd have to be able to justify them.
There's proof of it.
But as long as they've got proof of ownership, Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it might be a little problem.
well, it's gonna be a problem for them to sell them, period, without
Okay.
Proof.
having proof of ownership to begin with.
And the person's gonna buy them needs to have that proof.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna sell Uncle Mike, so he's not gonna use this.
But transfers of ownership of burial rights need to go through this office so it can be documented. Otherwise, I'm afraid someone's gonna get gigged down the road.
Paper trail.
Jana told me pretty much what needs to be done when we talked, and I just want to let
But
go.
if that's what she said, that's what you do.
how about that? Woo, woo. I mean, all choked up. But I think I did kind of tell you that.
Yes, you did.
I was in the middle of,
I told you,
I was in the middle of what, Jackson,
you was out there.
Jackson, Tennessee traffic or something.
But.
He shouldn't have no trouble selling them, whoever the individual
But
is.
it's trouble if it's Terry Dismore, and I don't know.
Oh,
if he
Terry?
have- I don't know if he has.
He might not have anything. If he doesn't,
Well, if we've got something like on there, then he just needs to do, see if he can find something to corroborate it. That
Right,
he's,
neither,
well, in a situation where if Dismore has bought a section of lots. All right. And it's on the map that Dismore owned, then, but the owners who originally purchased them are deceased. Then he needs to go back and look at the
he needs. to do his
Executor.
homework and-
he's gonna have to do some homework, yeah. He needs to go back and look at the will, look at the executor. And find out how that was supposed to be handled down.
Where's his
handed down.
mom and dad at? Do you know, Mikey?
Mhm.
Terry's daddy, mama,
Yeah.
and well, all the boys.
And
Keith
you know, he
and-
comes in the fifties every so often, but I hadn't seen him since our last meeting, but he did say one time, the last time I saw him, he wanted to ask that question. And I hadn't seen him since, and now I know that when I do see him, I'll know what to do.
Sure.
I may just try to get a number to call him.
Yeah. Allison, take care of him.
Do you have anything else for us? 'Cause that's really all I've got for you guys at this point. Oh, yes, we've got
what?
elections. To go through it right quick.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
Megan.
No,
wrong ones.
Oh, wrong.
I nominate Miss Jordan to
we
retain
got
the seat
we got
that
a
she's in.
chairman and a vice chair.
Yeah,
That's these two right here.
Oh,
no, she does a fabulous job. I want her to retain this seat. Neither one of them two would be great for the vice.
Okay.
I nominate that.
I'll
Do
think
you-
of that.
Do you receive?
I will. I will.
I guess.
All right. You want to maintain the same slate by acclamation?
I do.
The same slate.
Mhm.
Same slate by acclamation, yes.
Oh,
Yeah. It means keep the same folks.
You've got enough on your.
Jeff
hands.
and then Dale second.
Yeah, I'm a long way from being in your shoes or anybody else's.
No, no, I mean with taking
All in
care of.
favor,
our-
say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, ayes have it.
Too late.
Gayla second.
Is
Is
Gayla watching?
Put her name in there.
She didn't say anything the whole time.
No, she didn't say anything. Gayla, you with us?
That shows up.
Yes,
There you are.
yes. I've been listening. I'm listening good.
Everything good with you?
I still have no vision in my right eye, but Dale does, and he
Mm.
is. I'm just
Mhm.
waiting.
Be patient, girl.
I am. Mine may take 6 weeks, Dale.
I feel for you. I was lucky. So far, I've been very fortunate.
Yes. Well, thank you all.
That darn Jim, he caused it. Jim.
Yeah.
You know, you know, if you want to blame him, I'll second that too.
Same slate.
I've enjoyed doing this, listening to you all.
We're glad you tuned in.
Thank you.
Ashley, do you have anything you want to add?
No, except that I will make sure that that form's ready and get that to Allison, and I hope that that helps kind of move things along and gets us a solution.
All right.
Thank you, Ashley.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, is that it?
That's it, Madam Chairman.
All right. Then
I
I-
moved to adjourn.
Mike.
I'll
moved
second
to-
this one.
And Jeff second,
Yeah.
of course.
All right. Was that a yes vote?
It is.
I guess
aye.
so.
Yes vote, okay.
Are you saying 5:37?
That sounds.
5:37. We're out of here.
You can swear.